In a world where adulting threatened to crush our spirits, four geeks found solace in the realms of pop culture. But just as we hit our stride, darkness fell. Reality struck back and took a toll on everything we were. Just when hope seemed lost, our voices united under one creed.
Four geeks, infinite fandom, zero adult supervision.
Those words ignited a fire within us. Now we leap from fandom to fandom, episode to episode, uniting the voiceless, the broken, the meek. We are the walking geek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode for year 2026. I'm your host, Bosko, and I'll just go around the room and let everyone else introduce themselves, starting with the Double Mint Twins. Go, Twins.
Hello, everybody. Of course, you know me. I'm the Wonder Zebra. And I'm Nate with the beanie. So nice to meet everybody.
Hello, world. My name is Phoenix. I'm new to the podcast. Really loving to be here. So, guys, my fellow geeks, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, figure we talk about the state of the gaming industry, video games and consoles and all that. So let's start off with the state of the video game industry and all that as it currently stands.
You know, as you asked me that question, with the state of like the gaming industry as it stands right now, you know, something I was thinking about was, is it just me or do current day games not hold the same replay value anymore? Like, I remember a couple years ago, people were really lining up for like the Nintendo Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic. You don't see that kind of energy for anything PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or Nintendo Switch related. And I was playing through some of my old game collection today. I was playing Marvelous Capcom. You know, they had that recollection, that re-release not that long ago. And I was playing Injustice 2, and I was like, man, like these games like really kind of feel like a time capsule for the moment they captured. And like, I don't know if we're really going to capture that same lightning in a bottle like that anymore. Cause like, I'm still waiting to see if they'll ever do an Injustice 3. Lord knows there's an entire world out there looking for another Marvelous Capcom game. And when you look at the state of games right now, I'm looking at like the Nintendo Switch 2 lineup and can barely find a reason to want to go purchase that console. And poor Xbox doesn't even look like it's had an actual game or anything to write home about in like the entire release of the Series X. Like, I usually buy all three consoles, and I have not been able to, for 6 years, find an excuse to buy a Series X. And that's kind of sad, considering they used to have the highest amount of exclusives.
It doesn't help that the Nintendo 2 games now are like $90 a piece. It kind of puts a dent in the wallet for a lot of gamers, especially when PlayStation has pretty much dominated the video game scene, with the exception of maybe the PC gaming world. PlayStation's pretty much on, as far as consoles go, the way I feel, is pretty much number one. Like you said, Phoenix, Xbox, I haven't really been too excited about anything Xbox has put out lately. I haven't even went out and got the Xbox Series One or whatnot. I stuck with the PlayStation 5. So yeah, I don't get that same drive to go ahead and stand in line for hours and get the next video game or the next video game console, so to speak.
Like, it's a really sad state of affairs where things were, because like it feels like as less competition has like shuttered in like years. Like, remember when there was a time when Sega was making game consoles? Not to date myself too much, but it really feels as like competition starts boarding up, there's not as much of a desire to innovate like it used to be. Like, PlayStation's been running things, and I'm a PlayStation fan, but like I said, I walk into a Best Buy these days, and like what used to have like 5 sections for Xbox, they're now like a 4-foot end cap.
So I want to piggyback off of, like you said, games don't hold weight anymore, Phoenix. You are 100% right. But then I also think that a lot of games that we played back in the day was before its time too, I feel. Like, like you said, back in Injustice 2. I replayed that recently. I actually downloaded that last month. That right there is like, wow, like, just the nostalgia of games right now. I feel like games now, I'm not saying that they don't take too much time to like, put out. Like, I just feel like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was supposed to be what? One of the biggest new age games, am I correct? It had so many bugs, it had so many things going wrong with it. And then when it finally came out or re-came out, I'm not saying it wasn't playable, but no, it was like really lackluster, So but yeah, like, the whole gaming the whole gaming thing where it's like right now for me, PC is probably like at the number one right there. I have a PlayStation 5 and a Switch, but like you said, a lot of things don't hold as much weight anymore. They don't have the nostalgia that it recently had. It's kind of like, you know what? Like, just kind of take this game and, like, just run with it. Like, you beat it and then there's no playthrough again. So,
Yeah, like I think that's also starting to translate into games resale value. I mean, I know GameStop commonly has like a bunch of memes where they're like really undervaluing games, but now it's at a point where a game could come out and like within like the first month, it's like resale value is like $5. Like it's like trash,
yeah.
like compared to what it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I have Cyberpunk, and I played it, and I kinda enjoyed it, but, like, I haven't beat the game, and the reason I haven't beat the game is because, like, there was other games out there, like, when Spider-Man 2 came out, I was like, "Oh, yeah." I locked in on that, and that was just it for Cyberpunk. I still haven't played that yet, I still haven't finished it yet, so I can agree with that.
Adulting sucks. I don't have as much video gaming time that I used to have because I got a family here and earning my degree, so that takes a lot of my time. So it really, for a video game to really capture my attention, it really has to be something great. One game that I didn't play right away, and it's years since it came out, and I didn't play it because I had some reservations of playing a Red Dead Redemption 2. I had sat on that game for the longest, for the longest. It wasn't until like maybe a year ago that I started playing it, and I couldn't put that damn thing down for one damn second. And I kept doing all the side missions. I kept going back and redoing some of the main missions. It was one of
Mhm.
those games that was really hard to put down. I kicked myself and thinking, why didn't I jump on this right when it came out? Now I'm waiting for them to do a Red Dead Redemption 3 to kind of live up to what Red Dead Redemption 2 and the original Red Dead Redemption. I played that as well. I love that game, but not as much as I do with Red Dead Redemption 2. That storyline was just top notch. The open world, the different side missions, the different things you could find out. And there's still new things that people are finding within that game years and years later that is brand new. Hey, did you know if you go in this spot and shoot this person in the face, you open up this treasure, something to that effect. It's those kind of games that are really rare to find nowadays. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but it's very, at least for me, it's very rare for a game to come along and be like, "Oh, I really need to play that game. I really need to get into the story." Another game I'm sitting on is a game that you just mentioned, Wonder Zero, is Spider-Man 2. I've I bought the special edition. I got the Venom statue with Miles Morales and Peter Parker like attacking Venom. I have that sitting on my shelf right up here, but I haven't played the game yet. I also haven't played God of War Ragnarok. I also I got the special edition for that too, where I have Thor's hammer. I can go grab it right now, and I have Thor's hammer. I can whack people around with it. And I hear those games are great. And I really, I really need to get back into those kind of games. Aside from maybe those three titles that I've named, I can't think of another game that I'm really looking forward to, with the exception of GTA 6, which they pushed back yet again. And I heard they pushed it back again. And I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, last time we talked about them pushing it back because they wanted to do the whole AI, the NP AI thing, where each non-playable character you run into, they remember who you are, they remember what you did, and they, you see them years later, but they remember you, that type of thing. And if you blow up something in town, you blow up a building, or you make damages or whatnot, the AI will take over, and pretty much like real life, that building is under construction, or there's news stories on it saying why this was destroyed, what's the progress of it. That kind of little, I want to say little because it's going to be an expansive thing that they're going to be doing, but to go to that extent, a lot of people are feeding for that game to come out. But if that's where they're going with this whole AI thing with the non NPCs, I'm kind of interested. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, just put the damn game out already. Thoughts on that?
Oh, even with GTA 5, so much replayability with that. Like, there's still new stuff to learn with GTA 5. And my biggest hope with GTA 6 is that with all the work they're doing and all this pushback and everything they're putting into it, I really hope that it's a good game. I hope that they didn't do all this work and it turns out to be a dud. Because if it's a dud, then it's like, dude, you pushed it back all the time for this. Like you put in all this stuff for this. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, the one game I am looking forward to is Wolverine, X-Men's Wolverine, that new one that's coming out. I'm heavily looking forward to that. I've got that on my wish list and waiting for it to drop. I cannot wait to play that. I think it's going to be really good. Phoenix, go ahead. You have the floor now, sir.
GTA 6. I'm kind of in the camp that that game is not real and it cannot hurt me because we've gotten so many things before GTA 6. I feel like we're probably more likely to get Injustice 3 or new Marvelous Capcom or heck, even a new Kingdom Hearts before we get GTA 6 at this point. And to piggyback off what I just said about Kingdom Hearts, I'm definitely tempering my expectations with GTA 6 because the last time I waited this long for a game was when Kingdom Hearts 3 was supposed to drop. Now, to put it in perspective, from the time that I beat Kingdom Hearts 2 and they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, about a good 14 years had passed. I finished high school, entered college, dropped out, got married, had kids and all that. So I reasonably began to realize that, this game might not be what I've waited for 14 years. And lo and behold, it came out and it was a fun playthrough for like a month, but they didn't even have the decency for to patch the game like completely. Like some people no life the game and beat it the first day and found out the ending wasn't even there unless you did an update. So like after 14 years, this is the level of care you put into the packaging. And to make matters worse, when I beat the game like a month later, man, they added DLC to the game and I couldn't even be bothered to come back to the game. And I understood why when I tried to sell it afterwards, that GameStop was like, they're only going to give me $250 for it. And it had only been out for a month.
What? Wait, I'm sorry. $2.50 or like
Yeah,
$250?
No, $2.50. It had only been out for a
Wow,
month and they were valuing it that low.
that's crazy.
But then again, I
The
shouldn't be surprised because it was a
GameStop.
brand new game and it was $20 when I bought it within that first month.
Okay, valid, but still.
So I don't know how you
Beanie,
guys
what do
feel
you?
talking about, trade-in value for games or whatnot, especially with GameStop. Reminds me of that scene from Star Wars: Force Awakens when Rey brings up her thing to that I forget the junk dealer's name. But anytime she brings something to him, he looks at it and he goes 1/4 portion. I feel that's what it's like when you when you walk up to GameStop and you buy a game that you spend like $60, $70, or if you dished out extra bucks for the special edition, which could go over $100, $150 depending on what game and what it is. You go up there thinking, oh, I'm gonna get bang for this, and you only get like 1/4 portion, which is like $5. You're like, really? Seriously? 2 months ago, it was like $150. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, about having a physical game as opposed to having the digital version of the game. Lately, I've been just getting the digital version of the games. One, because I'm horrible. I was in the military for over 20 years. Every time I moved, something would end up missing. I would get pissed off if I can't find a certain game or whatnot. So for me, as long as I have it digitally, I can always go back and play that game later on. The whole trade value really doesn't matter to me anymore, only because I didn't get anything out of it. Even when I traded in a game console, I barely got anything out of that either. Like when I traded in, I think it was like the original Xbox. I traded it in for, I forget what I traded it in for, but I traded it in and they gave me some like, oh, like $20. $20 for this? You charged me like $300 like a year ago. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the, having a physical game in hand as opposed to digital version of the game? Go Wonder Zebra.
What I think about that is, I used to love like the physical copies of video games. Like I know most of us were probably at like the midnight releases for like game like Call of Duty when Spider-Man first came out, just all types of
No
games.
doubt.
I used to just love waiting on the line. It's like, I can't wait to play this. I can't wait to play this. Like, I really wish that they would continuously do that. But ever since, like, everything that went on a couple of years ago, I just started getting digital games. You know what I mean? Like, I just started getting digital games because, like you said, you got the whole Spider-Man with the statue and the Miles Morales. You have everything, right? You know what I mean? Imagine if you would wait online for that maybe, 10 years ago. The nostalgia and the weight that one holds is ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I waited outside for the Division during college in 2000 and what? I think. Man, the line was around the corner, like the Call of Duty lines were around the corner, man. People were just camped out there for hours and hours. You know what I mean? But the whole thing, like, with turning a new game from GameStop, I actually did that with Ragnarok because I actually have the digital Ragnarok and I was actually gonna go take it back. They give you little to nothing, like, just taking back games at GameStop. So I feel like it's just better to just get the games digital because now, okay, let's just say you beat it within like 2 or 3 days. You might want to go back to it and play it like, in the next couple of months. Like, what if the game does hold a little bit of nostalgia? Because like for me, speaking about Spider-Man 1, that game still holds nostalgia for me. You know what I mean? Like those balls, that Doc Ock fight just alone right there. It's like, I can go back and play that over and over. So
I have to agree. Like I'm a digital guy myself now. All my games just about are almost digital because you tend to lose stuff and break stuff and everything else. And I'd rather not have to carry all that and stuff with me. So I keep it digital. Plus, it's easier for when I want to just uninstall it and play another game. I can always go back to it and everything instead of having to reinstall the disc and everything to boot up the. I'm good. I'm good. I have to agree though. It makes no sense to do GameStop in all honesty nowadays, like to trade in at least because you're not gonna get anything back. You're gonna get next to nothing back on that, and it's kind of like, dude, what's the point? You know what I mean? And to your what you said about Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man does have a lot of replayability. I'm actually playing through it right now again. My plan is because I have Spider-Man 1, I have Miles Morales, excuse me, and I have Spider-Man 2. So I'm gonna play them all back to back. So once I finish Spider-Man 1, I'm gonna go straight into Miles Morales. That is a lovely statue, by the
yes, it
way.
is. Like,
That is a lovely statue. I'm gonna play Spider-Man 1. I'm gonna finish that. Then I'm gonna play Miles Morales, and then I'm gonna finish off with Spider-Man 2 once again. Mind you, I'm beating all the games already, but still, it's the fact that they have replayability,
yes.
and I love that. Phoenix, what do you think, my friend?
When there's something they can see the value of digital games, but I gotta disagree. I am a physical game copy diehard for a couple of different reasons. Due in no part to like really like one, when you have a game, when I said before, these games are kind of like the capsule of time of like the moment they capture, right? I've had it happen a couple of different times where a physical copy of a game I had would then shoot up in replay value and resale value because of how much it's worth. Case in point, when Nintendo did the 35th anniversary collection a couple years ago, where you could get like 64, it was 3D All Stars. You get Mario 64, Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy 1 on this. Now, that was such a limited press copy run. And they made sure that when they said a certain date that you couldn't download it digitally anymore. So you couldn't get it there's no reason they did this other than like just inflating the value, but they made sure that you couldn't get it in the Switch store after a while, and you had to be one of the few who was lucky enough to have gotten this physical copy. Now, I bought this physical copy for like, I want to say like, what was it, like 45, $50. I was able to resell it for like 250 because of how rare it was and how sought after it was. Another case in point of that would be like when I had Marvelous Capcom 2 on PlayStation 2 back in high school. That, after a while, like Capcom kind of lost the licensing contract for a bit. There was only a handful of those copies made for like a couple of different like platforms. That game was worth $35 when I bought it. GameStop was willing to offer me 80 for it because I could sell it on eBay for 200. But like moments like that are why I'm always going to want to keep the physical copy, for collector's value. But the second reason is kind of due to an ugly precedent that Nintendo has recently set. They've recently made it in their Switch 2, like, terms and conditions. They're really trying to go at the mod community pretty hard. And I've seen firsthand what happens if they kill the servers for a game. You can have a digital copy all day, but like if they nuke the servers, like if your playability is already gone, you know what I mean? Especially if it's like an online connected game. And now that they're doing all these things, now that Nintendo set this precedent where because they're trying to go after the modding and like pirating community. They've set a precedent now where even if you legally buy a Switch 2, if you're caught modding it, if they see that you modded the software anyway, they're gonna brick your system. And so that got me thinking as a technician, if you could brick the system remotely like that, then what else can you do? Like, could you make it so that my digital copy no longer functions? And mind you, a lot of the Switch 2 games that you're buying in the store, they're not actually cartridges. They're actually like download cards to get the digital game. And they control when you have access to that digital game. So like, what's to stop Nintendo from just saying, okay, you know what? We're killing this server. We're killing this game. And now you no longer could ever play it. That possibility is why I have to have physical.
So to that effect, the PlayStation Network kind of does the same thing that Nintendo does, because what was the Avengers game that came out a couple years ago? I had a physical copy.
Yeah.
Of course, I moved, and then I lost the physical copy. But then I saw if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, the Avengers game is one of those games that was free to play as long as you have a subscription, right? So I added it to my library. I didn't download it to my PlayStation though. I just kept it in the library thinking, okay, later on, I'll download it. When I finally go back to download it, I looked at the Avengers icon for me to click on it, but in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little icon of a lock on it. So I can no longer download it for free. I have to buy the game.
Okay, let me see what I can do about buying. How much is the game? Now, come to find out, it's no longer available on the PlayStation Network. Now, I don't have it. I didn't have a way to play it. So I went to my backup plan, Amazon, found a copy of it, and had an actual physical disc sent to my house. Like, great, I have it. I get how you feel about when the company decides, oh, we're just gonna cut ties with this game and you'll never play it again. I admit I was ticked when that came up. Like, son of a. So yeah, I know that pain. Double McTwins. What do you guys think?
Double twins. That is
I like that.
hilarious.
I like that.
You go ahead. You go first, sir.
You know what I have to say about that? It's like I do agree with you guys, and especially you got to think about it: the time, the effort, the money that people put into buying their games too, and you're not gonna basically warn us any type of like reimbursement, like. It's kind of crazy, to me. Like why they could just take something to just right off the market without letting us know. And especially being loyalty customers of like, wait, we got an Xbox, a PlayStation, Switch. It's basically like, I'm not saying where your loyalty lies, but it's like, where's the communication on our part, I'd say?
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I mean, uh, well, I mean, I, I guess I get why they do that. Yeah, I mean, because like you said, Bosco, when they get tired of a game and stuff, they kick them, they just say whatever to it. And I think it also depends on the people. It also depends on us too, because I think if people aren't playing the games like they want, or people aren't really like into the games like they want them to be, they figure the game is pointless, and they forget about the people that, like you said, like those who work and have kids and everything else, who may not have the time to actually game on a regular basis nowadays. Who would, when they find that game, they're like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to play this game. Now I can play this game, but they can't now because they didn't said, well, since not everybody in the world is playing the games, we might as well just go ahead and cut our losses on it because the game ain't popular. When in fact there could be a niche group of people that just haven't had a chance to play it yet.
I'm gonna say that too. Like, yeah.
So yeah,
Something that you said about that, like, people may not necessarily have the time to play the game and things like that because not everybody in the world's playing the same game, right? That actually brings something back to my memory about Xbox. Like, I think one of the things that's dooming their company right now is that the last couple of games that they put out that actually were something to like talk about, they didn't do quite the budget that they wanted. Like, they spent millions of dollars and they didn't make quite the same amount of investment. But, these are critically acclaimed games by the gaming communities. Well, Microsoft started responding by firing the development teams for these games. Like, if it didn't do the budget that they wanted, all right, we're firing these people. Like, I think in the last couple years, they laid off like thousands of people. And the crazy thing is, when you compare that to a gaming company like Nintendo, they have like 3 or 4 times the workforce that Nintendo does. Like, Nintendo maybe has like 500 gaming employees tops compared to like the multiple thousands that like Xbox and Sony have. Like, Xbox has laid off enough of these people that they could probably really turn the balance into any other gaming company they went to. And I gotta say, from their perspective, it's kind of hard to want to work for Microsoft at this point because, like, oh, you're gonna fire me even if I don't, even if I give you a critically acclaimed game just because it didn't generate the specific number you wanted of like dollars. And it kind of makes sense to me now why we haven't seen like maybe another AAA Halo game or something like that. There's no motivation or desire to even try to make it.
In a lot of the games, like if these companies have a successful game, like now let me think of one. Only the game that comes that pops in my head, Dead Space, when it came out for I want to say PlayStation 3. Came out for
yes,
PlayStation 3, and when I saw trailers of it, it made me think of it's a combination of Alien and John Carpenter's The Thing.
yes.
As a horror movie kid, that's what caught my eye. I played through that game. That game scared the hell out of me. I'm not afraid of a full-fledged fight in video games when shit gets dark and you hear things crawling around you and they jump out of nowhere. That shit is intense. That game brought a whole new level to the survival horror movie horror. So when Dead Space 2 came out, there was a high expectation for it to live up or to go past what the original Dead Space did. For me, Dead Space 2 was awesome. I love Dead Space 2. Dead Space 3, that was the bane of my existence. That game sucked. So I feel that when these companies have a successful game,
I didn't even know they did it.
in 3 you had like this co-op option. Like certain levels you can have someone play alongside you, but it wasn't throughout the game that you could do that. It's like, well, what the hell? Anyhow, I feel that when like companies like Microsoft or PlayStation or Nintendo, when they have a game that they feel that like this game might not do so well, but then it blows up the market and people are on top of it and they can't get enough of it, they do a second one. The second one is somewhat along the same level and sometimes go above what the original did. Now they go past they look at the game not as an artwork, a piece of art, electronic art, but now they just look at it as a monetary thing. Well, let's just throw something together, throw a whole bunch of money at it, bells and whistles, and then it comes out, the third version, fourth version, whatever comes out, and it absolutely flops. And then there are times where they spend a lot of money on video games, and the game comes out first game of its series or whatnot, and it absolutely sucks. You know, like Suicide Squad. I was not a fan of Suicide. I tried playing through that game. There was just something about it. I'm like, I didn't really like that game. And a lot of people also didn't really like that game either.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but I think the biggest waste of time for me in that game was the fact that, spoiler alert for those who haven't played it, is the fact that you didn't really kill the actual Justice League. And I think that kind of was his downfall in a lot of ways, because it was like, why make this whole game about us killing the Justice League if we didn't kill the Justice League? You know? So I kind of felt that was kind of like its biggest downfall.
No, the main
Not to mention,
for that
can
game.
we all talk about how easily Batman got taken out in that game?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the main selling point was the fact that was Kevin Conroy's last ever portrayal of Batman.
Yes.
Voicing Batman.
His voice.
He passed away shortly after.
Exactly.
That was the only reason I got that game. But then he was really not. He
Same.
really wasn't in the game all that much. And you figured I was kind of hoping that Batman. I know it was called Suicide Squad, but it is out of Batman's rogue gallery. You figured he'd be on their tail most of the damn time, but you didn't get that at all.
I mean, the risk they had with something like that was whenever you put like Batman in a game like that, he kind of steals the show.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, it is Batman. Like, it literally is.
I mean, I understood the story premise and everything, but like I said, there was a lot that could have been done with that game. A whole lot more could have been done with that game. I do like how they tied in all the Arkham games into that game when you go into the museum. I did like that. So they give you the whole story of the whole Arkham series in that game through the museum. I did like that because I was like, oh, okay, so it ties in, so to speak. All right, I like that. You know,
So that's another game series, and I don't know if everyone agrees with me on this. The Arkham series, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and if you want to include Arkham Origins and all that, was a pretty kick-ass series.
Yes.
Arkham Asylum by itself, like, oh my
Yes.
God, this is the Batman game we've all been wanting for like the longest. And then Arkham City came out, like now you got an entire city to play as Batman. Then Arkham Knight came out, and if you wanted to be Batman, that's the game you wanted to play. So that's another one of those things that just came out of nowhere. There've been Batman games before, but nothing like Arkham Asylum. And the fact that you got Kevin Conroy to play Batman and Mark Hamill to voice Joker.
Yo.
Dude, you got me hooked. Once I heard
Just
that,
like-
I'm like the dude from Futurama. Take my money. That was all me. And I know, no Wonder Zero, you claiming you being a Batman fan too. You were all about that as well.
Of course.
What?
Well, of course. You know, that whole series. As soon as I saw the trailer for them series, I'm like, oh, I'm in. I have to play this. There's no getting around this. You know, I have to agree that that was one of the best series as well. Like, even though Origins doesn't tie into the Arkham series too much. You know what I mean? Because Origins was like what? It was
It was supposed to be a prequel.
it was Rocksteady. It was like some other company that did it, right?
It wasn't Rocksteady.
It was like some Canadian company or something, right?
Yeah, it was a different company. And then when Arkham Knight came around, the original company that did Arkham Asylum took that.
Right.
It was
right.
Rocksteady that did Arkham Asylum. I got to fact check that.
I believe so. I believe it was Rocksteady. Yeah, Rocksteady did Arkham Asylum. Rocksteady did the other three. Like I said, even with Arkham Origins, that was good. Because even though it wasn't from the same developer, they still kept in the vein of the Arkham series. I enjoyed that. The only thing that annoyed me was fighting Deathstroke. Oh my God, that man was annoying.
It was a fun.
But it was annoying.
You know, tell me you guys with Arkham City, the finale to that.
when you found out that the Joker you were again. I'd be surprised if there's Batman fan out there that hasn't played the Arkham series yet. Spoiler alert: Arkham City. You find out the Joker you're going after is not actually the Joker. It turns out to be Clayface. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Clayface?
yeah.
That blew my freaking mind. Clayface?
Blew my mind. That literally blew my mind. That literally. Have any of you guys played a Gotham Knight?
Bring that up too.
I haven't yet. And again, it's one of those other games I have in plastic wrap that I really need to play, but I haven't played it yet.
You know, Clayface is kind of nightmare fuel in that game.
Yes, I agree with that. Beanie, what did you think about it?
So I played it just like I played Suicide Squad. The main things why those games I feel like not even the main thing, just it's like the gear base. It's like it's not about really the storyline with that. Like the whole thing about with the Suicide Squad, the storyline. I kind of feel like the reason why it sold so fast, like oh god, like it's the Suicide Squad. When's the last time you heard of a Suicide Squad game? Then that month I was gonna buy it, but then that month the highest one went down to almost like what $20. $20. Gotham Knights. It was so fun, like to play as Robin, like just the multiple Robins, Red Hood, like. But the thing is, it's the whole gear based system. While those type of games are not really doing so well, it's basically like it's kind of like I can get a certain type of gear. I can get the nostalgic costume that they had in a comic book or in the show or in a animated movie. That's like that's like the Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn. You know what I mean? You get the nostalgic, like the red and black. I like the games. They were okay to me.
I enjoyed it because I got to play with friends online, and we would do patrols in the city and fight the villains and stuff. And I enjoyed that because it was like, all right, I'm having fun with my friends, and now we're doing the whole thing where you got to fight Starro and all this other stuff, and that was kind of dope to me because it felt like, all right, this is a squad. We're the Bat family out here doing whatever. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy for the fact of the actual game, or you were able to basically like you felt like
I did enjoy the story mode too because it had the Court of Owls.
yes,
And I
okay.
love the Court of Owls. So that whole storyline they did was like, oh my god! And every step and every turn, and it was like, dude. First off, Batman dying was kind of like, bro, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, like
like why are we?
I'm kidding. I knew that.
he didn't play.
I forgot you haven't played this.
Sorry, boss.
I forgot you have not played this yet.
Many times in video games.
Dude, what we should do? The four of us should do a Gotham Knights run.
What did I have it in my library too?
I think the four of us should do a Gotham
I'm
Knights.
shotgunning Red Hood.
Yeah, I got
I'm taking Nightwing already.
No, I got Tim. I got Tim. You got
I'm taking
Batgirl.
Nightwing. I'm taking Nightwing.
All right, but I got Tim.
Well, that leaves you to be Batgirl.
You all. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm okay with that fact. I'm okay with the fact that you guys gonna be chasing me around, running the piece of my ass. Okay, I'm cool with that.
But you know something about Gotham Knight though? The fact that you're able to do patrols like with multiple people makes me really disappointed that Spider-Man 2 didn't allow a co-op mode like with online people.
And they had before. They had it.
Yes.
They had it. They had it. Because they were doing they were supposed to do a whole multiverse thing for Spider-Man 2. They're supposed to do a whole multiverse DLC, and they just let it go.
That's probably the worst thing that they actually did. Seriously.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand
Like,
it.
how do you fumble that hard?
Wow.
I think that right there would have been amazing.
So just
Now,
just
since
a
we're
little
talking
fact
about video
check.
games,
Fact check from Batman, really quick. So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight was done by Rocksteady. Arkham Origins was done by Warner Brothers, Montreal.
Right. Okay. Yes.
So yeah, but no. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
like I know since we were talking about basically like trilogy games and everything, how does everybody feel about Uncharted?
I love the Uncharted
The
series.
Uncharted series, like
I love the Uncharted series.
talk about
Dude, I can play okay, so let me give you a little backstory, which is funny about it, because I never played Uncharted before, right? My sister and her boyfriend had bought me Uncharted for Christmas one year. They bought me Uncharted 4, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna try it and see how it goes, right? Dude, I put that thing into the PlayStation and I was hooked. I was hooked so fast, and I went back to play the other three after that because I was like, dude, this is a good series. I had to go. I started at 4 because, like I said, they bought me 4, and I had to go back just to see how everything else that happened. And I was like, dude, I like this game.
why didn't I play it sooner?
Right. Like, why
Well,
wasn't this
that's-
on my radar sooner? You know, yeah, like, why wasn't this on my radar sooner? Like, why did I not say, dude, I need to play this game? But you know what it is for me? If the trailers of the games don't catch me, same thing with movies. If the trailers don't catch me, I'm not interested.
But
It doesn't interest me.
they're not supposed to give you everything.
No, but hear me. If they don't give me a reason to want to play it or want to watch it, then I'm not gonna want to do it. Like for me, with movies and video game trailers, the first 5 minutes have to catch me.
I respect that. Yeah.
You have to make me want to go. I want to see this movie. I want to play this game. You know, and if they fail to do that,
I respect it. Anyone else, Bosko? Like, what do you guys think about it? If you guys played Uncharted, like, what do you guys think about it? Phoenix.
So to be fully transparent with you all, I haven't actually played any of the Uncharted games. I know I might get judged here, but I actually haven't played the Uncharted game. So I've seen the movie, but I haven't actually played the games. I've seen YouTube clips of it and said to myself, I really need to play that game, and I haven't played it. I'm sorry.
What I think about Uncharted, I played them. I haven't beaten any of them, but when I play Uncharted, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's everything that I wish Tomb Raider was back in the day.
yeah,
That was a good analogy. I can't lie. Okay, I respect that 100%. I do.
I agree with that. I agree with that all the way.
It was the OG
couldn't really get
Gooner
into-
game for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that game like that. I played Tomb Raider 1, and then I was like, I got maybe not even halfway through the game, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play something else. You know, but then again, granted, when I played it, it was on PlayStation 1, and there wasn't that many games to choose from at that time. It was either what, Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider, wrestling, if you're a wrestling fan who likes the wrestling video games. Back then, they didn't really have the PlayStation in the beginning really didn't have a lot of games to choose from.
Yeah.
In the US.
Okay, in the US, yes, you're right.
They did something right because they're all the way up to PlayStation 5, and now there's rumblings about PlayStation 6 on
Sure,
the
yeah.
horizon. So they did something.
I mean, Crash Bandicoot
Yeah,
hard carried the PlayStation console for a while.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes, Crash Bandicoot was the mascot for PlayStation for like forever.
I love the commercials too with Crash Bandicoot, the guy in the Crash Bandicoot costume. That was awesome. He talked with the megaphone.
You know, Bosco, there's some interesting trivia about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's really interesting trivia. Wonder Zebra knows this story because I shared it with him the last time I saw him. But so there's a personality to that commercial. So the guy in the Crash Bandicoot costume, that whole commercial was done as a big middle finger to Nintendo because originally Sony did not want to actually enter the gaming industry. Nintendo contracted them to help them try to create a game system that ran on disc. And at the time, Sony was like the masters of like getting information and media onto disc. So they were like, all right, if we want to make a video game console that runs on disc, we should contact Sony because they're really good at making CDs and things like that, and CD-ROMs and whatnot. So they developed the game system, which would go on to be the PlayStation 1. Now, after they already shelled out all the money for R&D, the PlayStation was made at this point. Nintendo pulled out and said, you know what? We're going to make the Nintendo 64 and stick with cartridges. And as a result, this now leaves like Sony with like a bunch of game systems already made and developed, and they pulled out like that. That's why there was such a lack of games at first because of this little disconnect. So Sony makes a boss decision and says, you know what? We already made all the game consoles. They already pulled out. They pulled out of the contract. Screw it. We're going to go into the gaming industry ourselves. And that's why they shot that commercial the way they did at Nintendo of America's headquarters. And I vividly remember the guy in the Crash Bandicoot costume saying these pointed words: hey, mustache man, plumber boy, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Yeah.
Pack your stuff. That's why that message was played. It was a declaration of war. Those commercials.
Do you guys look at it like PlayStation won the war?
They
Like the console,
won
when
the
you
war?
really think about it.
Yeah, when I really think about it, I think PlayStation has kind of won the war. But here's the sad thing. Nintendo had a couple of like victory points in the middle of it that they could have took that they did not. Like Nintendo right now isn't even ran by gamers anymore like it used to be during the Wii and Switch era. It's ran by like guys who used to run banks that I'm pretty sure probably have never played a game in their life. And it's showing in all their marketing decisions.
If you were to look at it as like as if the gaming consoles like a Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, if they were like
if it was like boxing or a wrestling match. Sony has had the championship for a while, and for a while they kept going back and forth with that title between PlayStation and then Xbox, and Nintendo was kind of trying to catch up. But now it does feel like that's PlayStation quote unquote won the war. I wouldn't look at it that way. I will look at it right now. They're the title holder. It's just a matter of time of when Nintendo or Xbox makes a comeback to take that title back. So it's just a matter of how and when that's going to happen, or if PlayStation keeps a stranglehold on that title and becomes the champion of the console wars for years and years to come. Just kind of depends on what they're going to do with the PlayStation 5 and what PlayStation 6 is going to improve on.
Trust. I agree with that.
So we got less than 10 minutes left on our time here. So let's finish it out with this. I'll ask, what upcoming video games are you guys looking forward to, if any?
I am looking forward to Wolverine and GTA 6. I mean, even though GTA 6 has been pushed back, I'm still looking forward to that game. I'm hoping, like I said before, I'm hoping that they make that whatever they're doing, this game has to be game of the year, like before like it drops. You know, that's my hope anyway. What about you?
I can definitely say for Wolverine, right there. In my opinion, I feel like most superhero games, Insomnia needs to do, like, they just need to do those. Like, I feel like just with the Spider-Man games, now with the Wolverine games, it's like, man, a GTA, I can say that, but then I also have to go with Phoenix says, it's like, it's been 14 years, and it recently just got pushed back once again. They were working on this game when GTA 5 got released. So I can say that's a game right there. Those two games right now. And I would even say for an Injustice 3, I've been hoping for an Injustice 3. Like real life, I've been hoping for another Injustice. At the moment, I can't really say except those three games at the moment, you know.
The only game that's confirmed that I'm actually waiting on is the Wolverine game. And if I'm being completely honest, it's because from what I heard, this game getting leaked is why we didn't get DLC for Spider-Man 2. So I kind of want this as a Wolverine fan, but also as you cut into my Spider-Man content. So this is going to be good.
So for me, obviously, the Wolverine game. I've been seeing gameplay of that game and then the trailers they have for it. And I mean, the last Wolverine game I actually played, what was it? Based on the Wolverine 2 movie?
X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah, it was
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
It's been Wolverine Origins, yeah. And that was all right. I kind of got into that game, but watching what they're doing, what they're planning to do with the Wolverine game that's coming out, pretty much in the same style as the Spider-Man games, I'm really looking forward to that. Especially, this is not the PG version of Deathloop. Seeing the gameplay and the cinematics to it actually tearing shit up.
Yes.
Forward to that. So that game I'm definitely looking forward to, and I think that comes out in June, don't it?
Yeah, it comes out this year.
I believe it comes out in September. I think they said.
They said a fall, right?
Yeah, I believe September was the date.
I have to check that out again.
I think Bosko's on it right now.
I'm just happy about the nostalgic of the suits that we're probably gonna get in there too, man.
Yes.
But first of all,
listen,
that yellow and blue.
We need the Weapon X suit, okay?
Oh, 100%.
I need the Weapon X suit in this game.
Oh,
give me that. I'll take that.
2025. That's when it's coming out. September 24th, 2025.
You was right. September. See,
I am looking.
I have that on my wish list.
and yeah, I agree. The common accurate costumes. I loved it in Deadpool versus Wolverine when Deadpool looked at the camera like, it took you 20 freaking years, you got it right. And then toward the final act of Deadpool 3, when they're coming out to fight all the other Deadpool variants, and you have Madonna's the Madonna song playing in the background, and you see them doing that slow walk, and you see Hugh Jackman pull up the hood, and you see it's the mask. You're like,
yes.
That was a nerdgasm that good Lord
yes.
was
took long enough for that suit.
It definitely did. Well, but 20-something years.
And it's not like it didn't work either. It absolutely freaking worked.
Fox is so averse to it.
So I am definitely looking forward to the Wolverine game coming out. Another game I'm looking forward to that's coming out next month is Resident Evil Requiem. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh,
game.
I forgot. Oh, man, I forgot.
I've seen and again, to Jarrell's comment earlier, the trailer got me. I saw the trailer. I'm like, holy mother of God, I need to play this game. So once it comes out, like it comes up, at least I thought it did. comes out February. I know that February 16th or something like that.
February
So,
or
yeah,
something like the teens or whatever.
yeah. So I'm really looking forward to. Hey, I'm gonna pull it up right now. It's coming out.
Old man Leon, man. Old man Leon's still doing it with the kicks, man. Still doing it
No,
with the kicks.
he got out of that car and you see him like, oh, and then he started doing them kicks.
Yep.
So yeah, February 27th is when that badass is coming out. So yeah, looking forward to that game. Yeah, I mean, as far as the state of video games going on right now, one thing that we didn't get a touch on, but maybe we can touch on a little bit, is we've talked about the gaming consoles, PlayStation 5, Nintendo. But another thing that's really been kind of catching on in the background is retro gaming. Is all the retro consoles you can buy now to play the old 8-bit Nintendo games, or even the
Yes.
little mini versions of like a Nintendo Mini, Super Nintendo Mini, PlayStation Mini. Even got a Sega Mini
Okay.
out right now. You know, the nostalgia behind those games is kind of been in the background, at least for me, kind of in the background, because there's a lot of people on my Facebook page and my Facebook friend list who have an entire man cave decked out in that old 8-bit nostalgia, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega. And for me, you can't help but have respect for that, because that's what we all grew up on.
That, but I'd almost even wager to say that in some companies' cases, they don't make these games with the same level of care anymore. Looking at you, Capcom, because specifically those old Street Fighter games are still leaps and bounds ahead of the current Street Fighter games.
Agree with you.
They never did recapture that lightning in the bottle, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Even Ultimate Marvelous Capcom 3, because that was the last time they really did a lot of like care and like fighting for certain characters to be in the franchise. Like before Disney got involved to the point where they're like really messing with the games. Ultimate Marvelous Capcom 3, like the team was actually allowed to pick the characters they put in the game. They fought so hard to put Deadpool in the game at a time before Deadpool got as popular as he did. And you know, then you get to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where Disney was so petty that they said, hey, you can't have any Marvel characters losing in the trailers. They always have to be in a winning position. We're going to put in more Marvel characters than we're going to put in Capcom. Well, hey, these characters that we developed, you know, originally to put in the story, lock them behind the paywall. We'll make them DLC. Like before they started doing stuff like that, I would say Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was like the last one that really captured that like childlike innocence and joy of imagination and creation. It was ahead of its time.
Yes, it was. I mean,
I
no doubt.
respect that.
But you know, we'll continue to see what the video game industry comes out with. I mean, the industry by itself, you gotta admit, has come a long way, leaps and bounds than what it was when we were growing up. I
Yes.
remember,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember my parents always telling me like, "You're never gonna make any money playing video games or making video games." Fast forward to now, man, these companies are making bank off of most of these games nowadays, and a lot of times, the game developers are some of the game developers out there are treating games now as another art form next to movies and music, and rightfully so, because you can get easily lost in a Red Dead Redemption 2 or a GTA 5 or even like even some of the old school games, Zelda, Mario, whatnot. You can easily get lost in the story of a video game as you can with a movie or a book or an audiobook, whatever. It is another art form, and it's an art form that the entire world is freaking junkies on. But with that, that ends our first episode for the year of 2026. I am Bosko on behalf of the Wonder Zebra, Nate the Beanie, and the Phoenix. I bid you farewell, and until our next episode, Walking Geek signing off.
Yes.